When you are in a community of any kind, you develop opinions about everything. For the past year, I've voiced my own opinions about a variety of topics, which for some reason you guys find interesting enough to watch. But the thing with my opinions is that a lot of them were actually influenced by opinions from you guys. And yet I rarely talk about those opinions specifically. So to end the year off, let's look at some of your guys' hot takes on Amphibia, the Owl House, Disney, and animation as a whole. Of course, due to time constraints, I can't look at every comment you guys wrote in the comment section, and even the ones I have found are just way too long to read out fully. But with that in mind, here are 3 interesting hot takes from you guys. Alright, let's start off with hot take number 1. It's probably the most interesting Amphibia take I've seen in general. When you read the whole thing, it pretty much says that Amphibia should have had a couple more seasons to have more room for further plot and character development. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually pretty torn with this opinion. On one hand, yes, there are things in the show that should have gotten more screen time, like Sasha's redemption arc, Darcy's character development, Amphibia's history as an interdimensional empire, and so on. Sure, Marcy's journal kinda makes up for that fault, but it does not by any means excuse it. Having more episodes would definitely solve that problem. That being said, Disney is extremely unlikely to renew any show past season 3. I mean, even getting past season 2 is hard enough for many Disney shows already. Besides, for a show like Amphibia where its overarching story is structured to be divided into 3 acts, having only 3 seasons seems just right. This is why the more commonly held opinion among fans is that Amphibia should have had less episodes focused on Anne and the Planters and use that screen time to develop the other major characters more. I mean, as much as I like the Earth episodes in season 3, I will admit that a few of them were not really necessary in further developing the 4 main characters. I mean, did we really need to see Spring become a variant of Spider-Man? And did we really need to see Hop-Hop live his dream of being a celebrity actor when he already lived through it in season 2? Don't get me wrong, they were entertaining episodes, but that screen time could have been used to show Sasha develop her relationship with the people of Wardwood, for example. The show is literally called Amphibia, and yet we don't really get to see much of the amphibian characters in such an important period of the show. Kind of ironic, don't you think? Anyways, this is an interesting take. While I agree with the problem, I wouldn't say adding more seasons is the right solution. Okay, now let's look at a more adversarial hot take with number 2. This one, in layman's terms, says that Amphibia and the Owl House had a bad influence on the animation community as it made it where people keep comparing cartoons to these 2 sister shows. So as much as I want to laugh this off as a dumb take to have, I will admit this is something that I have seen in online communities. Sure, I'm pretty sure that most of it is a joke, at least that's how I am whenever I make jokes about Amphibia and the Owl House comparisons. But seeing these comparisons be made very often has gotten to my nerves after a while. But aside from the surface level comparisons, I have also seen people automatically dismiss most cartoons because they don't have a dark, serialized story like what these 2 sister shows have. This is especially the case when looking at the more recent Disney cartoons, where they took a more lighthearted, comedic, less serialized approach in storytelling, which is what we saw from Disney Channel prior to Gravity Falls. As much as I do like Amphibia partly due to its serialization of its story, even I find this dismissal of newer cartoons rather annoying to see. Not every cartoon has to be like Amphibia or any show from the story-driven era of the 2010s. Cartoons can be whatever they want, and that's a good thing. I mean, personally, after seeing The Owl House conclude, I was ready to watch other shows that are more comedic, which I did talk about earlier this year. But yeah, so while I wouldn't necessarily say that Amphibia and the Owl House were a bad influence on the online animation community, I will acknowledge that people are way too attached to the previous era of Disney TVA, and they really do need to give these newer shows a chance. Okay, let's head to hot take number 3. This one focuses on the broader scope of animation, and it essentially says that indie animation will be the last thing that animation fans will have left to really enjoy due to Disney, DreamWorks, and other animation studios choosing to use AI to do animation as a cost-cutting measure, meaning lower quality content. So I don't know how to feel about this take, if I'm being completely honest. Personally, I've always been a very big fan of Disney animation, especially Pixar animation when it comes to movies. DreamWorks and other studios have been doing great as well, making animated masterpieces, especially as of recently. However, this year has been excellent for indie animation, probably the best, considering we had pilots like The Amazing Digital Circus, which took over the internet. So when you look at indie animation, yeah, there's no doubt they'll continue to satisfy the wants and desires of animation fans. As for whether Disney, DreamWorks, or other studios will fall into mediocrity, it's honestly too early to tell in my opinion. Yeah, sure, Disney definitely shows signs of falling into that, if not having fallen into it already. But DreamWorks and Sony have shown signs that they don't intend to produce mid-level content anytime soon. Although the rise of AI is something of concern, which may lead to a decline in quality for all sectors of animation, but that is a can of worms for another video. Overall, this is a take I guess I can understand and somewhat agree will happen, but I honestly hope it does not come true. As much as we'd like to dunk on multi-billion-dollar companies losing to small indie creators in terms of views and positive reception from people, keep in mind that having fewer places to get good quality animated content is always bad, regardless of where it comes from. We may not like Disney and other big corporations, but we just still want them to do their best to make the best content they could possibly make. Alright, so those are the 3 main hot takes that piqued my interest the most. Again, I was planning to make this video a lot longer to react to more hot takes, but there's just so many of them and yet so little time. But don't worry, if you guys want me to react to your hot takes eventually, I will make another video on them. If you guys want to see that relatively soon, go ahead and leave those takes down in the comments below, and please give this video a like and subscribe for more content like this. Also, thanks again to Seb Maida and MB Command Nerd for supporting this channel directly through Patreon. And thank you all for watching this video. I hope you all had an excellent 2023. See you next year!